getting started as a BA, business analyst, we are going to explore how a non-IT person can get into business analysis. A lot of people find this as a viable option to enter into IT by becoming a business analyst. And although the thought might be a bit straightforward because the job description appears quite easy to do and the demands of the job seem conceivable, however, there might be some areas where you might feel you're stuck and you are not able to break through into the career of business analysis. I've helped hundreds of non-IT professionals get into business analysis, and I'll speak from that experience to see how you can make your path a little bit less strenuous as you navigate through this process. So this video will be all about how to get that first step started. How do you get moving? And we'll take it from there. So to begin with, you probably have done your research about the BA role. You know that without a IT background, you can get into business analysis. Without a computer science degree, you can still get into business analysis, and you need not have coded a single line of code all your life, and still you can become a business analyst. And the opportunities also are quite promising in the sense that the pay is good, there is a good growth perspective, and also it's one of the professions that is going to be hard to outsource. You might have a tester or a developer working out of another location or a country, but a business analyst is typically on the field with the business users wherever they are located, so that it's easier to communicate and have the conversations going, and it just makes sense for the business analyst to be co-located where the project is happening. Now, given all this, that it is a low barrier of entry, does it make the entry path easier? And you might be curious about it. Well, it can be a little bit challenging because you may not understand the nuances right at the outset. So let's get into some specifics and see how you can prepare yourself better to face the challenge of getting your first BA job and keeping it. Next, we'll talk about how you can equip yourself for the job even before you acquire a job. How can you prepare yourself towards that? One, capitalize on your past experience. Like I said, a lot of BA positions require you to have some experience. So it makes sense to capitalize your own past experience and use that from the BA perspective, because there's a lot of transferable skills when it comes to business analysis, whether it is a client-facing role or whether it is gaining good amount of domain knowledge or any IT experience in the past, or even if you are a software user for a long time based on your current job, that could also count. So take a look at your past resume and then take aspects of business analysis that you can gather from there, and then practice and act as a business analyst on that assignment of yours. What exactly do I mean? So prepare yourself to do some feature analysis. And what do I mean by feature analysis? If you have a certain product in front of you, learn to identify what the different feature sets are, what the different functionality available in that software is. And one way to get started with that is if you go to this website, capterra.com, and I'll throw in that information on that link as well, requirementsync.com/getting started. Capterra.com is a software directory, which means a lot of software vendors have information about their products available there. And they are very well categorized by domain and subdomain and specific subject area. So it's very easy to choose from thousands of software products relevant to the industry that you have knowledge about, so that you can look through that software, identify and relate to the features that are built into that software. So you can get a good understanding about how a software is laid out, or who the users can be, what the key features of the software are. So once you start looking at ready software and making that analysis and getting some understanding, it can be easy for you to relate to your own expertise and then say, okay, if I were to build a product for solving a given problem, then what would the features be? Who would the users be? How would the UI look like? And Capterra is a great resource because for a lot of these tools, they offer a free demo, or they might have a software demo available on YouTube. So you can kind of get an idea about a software and kind of relate to how that was built which can give you a good edge about being on a project and then seeing it end to end. So it gives you a good amount of visibility on several software products, and that's something that you could do. Next, start to practice your skills, BA skills, even in your current job. So any opportunity that you get to do a BA responsibility, jump on it. Perhaps some areas of your job or your team involves interviewing others and gathering more information, eliciting requirements from others. Be that person, volunteer to do that. Anything that involves note taking or documenting, meeting of the minutes, and so on. Those are small areas that you can start gathering up so that you can formulate that BA mindset in yourself and kind of be prepped up for that job. Now, how can you identify other areas where you could put your BA hat on and work on your current job itself? So I want to call these 4Ps. Any analyst is going to look at things in a business analysis problem based on these 4 areas for the most part. First is the phrase. What is the key terminology in a business domain, in a problem statement? In other words, before you jump into a problem and start speaking to people from the business, you want to speak the same language as them. So what phrases do they use? What is the terms? What are the terms that they oftentimes use? So within your domain or within the domain that you're trying to learn, identify these phrases, glossary of terms. Understand that before you jump in. So once you know the terms, then it's easier for you to jump into the process. Okay, so a new domain that you're trying to learn, what are the different processes that are available there that you can master? For example, if it's a mortgage industry that you want to learn, what happens in the process of getting a loan applied for? What happens in the process of pricing a loan? What happens in the process of getting the loan documentation created? What other things can go on while you're trying to approve someone for a loan? So think about all those perspectives, understand the phrases, the terminology, and then understand the different processes that might come into play. Next, picture. How can you represent whatever processes or things that go on, anything that is complex, in a diagram that is simple enough to understand so that you can convey a lot of content in a very short manner? That is one thing that the business analyst has to do constantly, is to come up with ways to depict complexity in a simplistic manner. So think about how you can represent your process, maybe a flow chart or whatever makes sense to represent something in a diagrammatic format. Lastly, paragraph. So a picture can be equal into 1,000 words, but it may not be sufficient for you to start development, start working on a software product, for instance. So you might want to paraphrase and then create a paragraph, let's say, to document everything that comes into that particular process that you're describing. Now, 2 things when it comes to any requirements. So let's dig a little bit deeper into what you would document in this paragraph. So anytime you're dealing with requirements, there are 2 things that are critical and form the core of how you would document requirements. It involves the flow. How do you progress from point A to point B? And it involves the rules that transpire while you're doing that flow. So certainly here there might be a rule that says, okay, you cannot do this unless, or if this, then that. So any rules that relate to what is allowed, what is permissible, not permissible, that would be a rule. To give you an example, if you want to renew your license, you cannot have a suspended license, cannot be renewed, right? So what are the requirements? And first of all, how do you renew is your flow. And then what are the rules that go into place while you're trying to do that renewal would be your rules. So any requirements you can think about as what is the flow, what are the rules that need to be ensured, and that can give you a picture of how you can represent these different scenarios and how to document these and practice even in your current job or while learning a new discipline. So there you have it, all the information I wanted to present in terms of getting started as a business analyst, taking those first steps towards a successful IT career. I'll leave you with some useful information. requirementsync.com/getting started will have access to all the resources that we discussed about in relevance to getting started as a BA. requirementsync.com/free has some free video content and other resources that are not available on YouTube if you want to check that out. And then requirementsync.com/book enables you to download a handbook about getting started as a BA. So those are some free resources that I wanted to leave you guys with. And this is our WhatsApp number, 703-468-1921, or use +1 for international, +1 703-468-1921 if you want to call us or WhatsApp us about any of your training needs, if we can assist you getting onto that BA career. And this is my LinkedIn address. It redirects to my LinkedIn, srinivas.com. If you want to get in touch with me, all my contact information is there. Wish you all the best in your IT careers, and I'll catch you in another video. Thanks.